And I spent 2 weeks at Aqsa hospital, and I think it's fair to say I wasn't remotely prepared for what I saw. I saw the most appalling atrocities, and I saw things that I never would have expected to have seen in any healthcare setting. I saw things at Aqsa hospital which I still wake up at night thinking about, appalling injuries in particularly women and children, the most devastating burns in small children. One child that I'll never forget had burns so bad you could see her facial bones. We knew there was no chance of her surviving that, but there was no morphine to give her. So not only was she inevitably going to die, but she would die in agony. And what made it even worse, that there was nowhere for her to go and die. So she was just left on the floor of the emergency department to die. And that's just one story. We've all seen multiple stories like that. I spent 2 weeks operating every single day in the operating theatres at Aqsa. Some days we didn't have any surgical gloves, so we had to wash previous ones. Sometimes we had no surgical drapes. Many days we had no morphine. On many occasions, no antibiotics. So really limited resources, knowing that actually a lot of those resources were probably in depots somewhere, or maybe in lorries queuing up outside at Rafah, but could not be distributed. And this is what is so urgent about the need for a ceasefire, is that the only way that aid that's being delivered to Gaza, and we welcome every bit of aid, the only way that aid is going to get to where it's needed is if there is a ceasefire.
You could put up 1,000 field hospitals and they wouldn't address a tenth of the needs in Gaza today. The hospitals that exist need to be rendered functional again. The health system needs to be restored. If there's anything to add to Gaza Strip, it would be post-operative beds. Lots and lots and lots of beds, thousands, tens of thousands of beds, just to be able to house all the people with surgical needs and non-surgical needs, because while the hospitals themselves can function, you have to have a place to put patients while they're recovering.
I spent some time a while ago looking up the definition of genocide in a variety of dictionaries, and what is going on in Gaza fulfills every single definition of genocide that I have read. So there's no doubt in my mind that's what's going on, and I think the end game, it appears to those of us who've been on the ground there, and indeed more importantly is the views of all the Gazans I've spoken to, is that the end game of the Israeli government is to force them out completely from Gaza, to eradicate them from that land.